knowledge in the world will be generated synthetically going forward. Until now, the knowledge that we have are knowledge that we generate and we propagate and we send to each other and we amplify it and we add to it and we modify it, we change it. In the future...
No, it's going to be true. I think he's right.
In a couple of years, maybe 2 or 3 years, 90% of the world's knowledge will likely be generated by AI.
Damn.
That's crazy.
I know, but it's just fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just fine.
I know. And the reason for that is this. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
It's because what difference does it make to me that I am learning from a textbook that was generated by a bunch of people I didn't know, or written by a book that, from somebody I don't know, to knowledge generated by AI computers that are assimilating all of this and resynthesizing things.
I think he's right. I do. I agree with him.
To me, I don't think there's a whole lot of difference. We still have to fact check it. We still have to make sure that it's,
of course,
based on fundamental first principles, and we still have
That's a good point. Yeah,
just like we do today.
How do you know the AI is correct? How do you know the textbook is correct? Do you really think that textbooks report on things and explain things in a way that's completely unbiased and reasonable? No, absolutely not. And there's this. Yeah, I mean, let's look at this. So this is a guy. I remember whenever this guy was running. See, Andrew Yang ran in 2016. And this was, again, almost 10 years ago. And he ran on the idea of universal basic income, people getting paid, because he said technology is going to replace everybody's jobs. Unfortunately, he was early.
AI is no longer an abstract threat. It's causing job loss right now, and the headlines, they tell the story. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, on Wednesday released a study that found that artificial intelligence can already replace 11.7% of the U.S. labor market, or as much as $1.2 trillion in wages across finance, healthcare, and professional services. The New York Times recently reported that Amazon is on the cusp of replacing what would be 600,000 warehouse jobs with robots. And
wow. Surely it won't. Surely that's the end of it, right? There's no way technology will ever improve. This is going to be as bad as it's going to get.
Plans to automate 75% of its operations. CNBC reporting that Salesforce, Walmart, Paramount, UPS, YouTube, and Meta have all announced new rounds of layoffs attributable to AI, with nearly 1 million job cuts nationwide this year. That's the job loss that we can measure. Now consider what some are predicting about the future. Goldman Sachs estimating that 6 to 7% of the U.S. workforce could be displaced due to AI adoption.
Only 6 to 7%? There's no way it's that low. Maybe it's like in like this year or something like that. But as a projection, there's no way.
They do note, however, that the impact may only be transitory because new opportunities created by AI might ultimately put people to work in other capacities.
I doubt that. And I think that to the extent that it does, it will do so at a 10-to-1 ratio or something even worse than that. Like, yes, AI and technology will create jobs, but it will remove them at a much higher ratio.
A report by the McKinsey Global Institute finding that AI could displace 40% of American jobs due to automation by 2030. That analysis found that robots and AI agents could automate more than half of U.S. work hours, both manual and cognitive, using technology that's available today if companies redesigned how they'll do things in the future. The World Economic Forum projecting that 92 million jobs worldwide may be displaced by 2030. Ford's CEO...
It's like fucking 4 years almost. Oh, my God.
Saying that AI could replace half of all white-collar workers there.
Wow.
NYU professor Scott Galloway predicting that AI will hit middle management first, noting that 6% drop.
Yeah, because they don't fucking do anything. That's the reason
managers at public companies since 2022. So here we are, AI eliminating jobs, more automation coming. If millions of people lose work, how will they support themselves? This is where an idea from the 2020 presidential campaign returns to the conversation. Universal Basic Income, or UBI.
Here we go.
The concept, pretty straightforward. Every American adult would receive a set check each month. For Cook County, Illinois, which includes Chicago, this concept just became reality. The Cook County Board of Commissioners unanimously approved its 2026 budget proposal just this month. It includes $7.5 million for a guaranteed basic income program. Commissioners approved it after the success of a pilot program.
It's pretty
where
good.
The county provided $500 a month to 3,200 households over 2 years. Survey findings based on that pilot revealed that 94% of the program recipients used the funds to address financial emergencies. 75% reported feeling more financially secure. 70% said that the program had a positive impact on mental health. Of course, there's the question of how do you pay for it? In the case
you just tax people more fucking money, obviously. That's clearly how you do it. Like, what do you mean? How do you pay for it? It's obvious.
County, as a result of the decrease in commercial real estate values, everybody's property taxes
$500 a month
are now sky high.
Hey, 500 is better than zero. You got to start somewhere.
In Chicago,
Get your foot in the
rising
door.
16.7%, the largest jump in at least 30 years. West Garfield Park saw an increase of 133%.
Yeah.
North Lawndale, 99%. Englewood, 82.5%. And there's pushback from the Illinois Policy Institute, which cites concerns about workforce and income effects. Quote, Cook County is making its guaranteed income pilot permanent and committing millions to a failed strategy already shown to leave people with less work experience and lower earnings. Back in 2020, it was presidential candidate Andrew Yang who called his version of universal basic income the freedom dividend, specifically $1,000 per month, no work requirements, no means testing.
You just get $1,000
a direct payment to help people cover bills, weather economic transitions, and adapt to a job market reshaped by technology.
Man.
Andrew Yang joins me now. Andrew, nice to have you back. I pulled a profile of you from 2018 when you were just on the cusp of announcing your candidacy. Here's a quote that you provided to the author of the piece. You said, "Need is self-driving cars to destabilize society in a few years."
And he said this in 2018. Now there's Waymos fucking everywhere. Like, self-driving cars is probably going to be the reason why, if Elon Musk does it the right way, he will become the world's first trillionaire. That is, it's gigantic.
Years, we're going to have 1 million truck drivers out of work who are 94% male with an average level of education of high school or 1 year of college. That one innovation will be enough to create riots in the street.
Yes.
And we're about to do the same thing to retail workers, call center workers, fast food workers, insurance companies, and accounting firms. It was 7 years ago. How is that quote aging?
It's aging very, very
disturbingly well.
Well, unfortunately, Michael, I'm so glad that we're having this conversation. 44% of American jobs are either repetitive manual or repetitive cognitive.
Exactly. Yeah. They're retard jobs where you just put the thing in the box, put the thing in the box, put the thing in the box, put the thing in the box. You really think you can't get a robot to do that? I mean, what are we talking about? Of course. They're bot jobs, literally.
And thus could be subject to AI and automation.
That's how it is.
And we're seeing that unfold right now.
Mouth breather jobs,
It's heartbreaking for me because I feel we could be doing much, much more for the millions of Americans who are going to be displaced.
I know that Cook County is just a microcosm, but I'm sure in hearing about their experience, people are wondering, okay, Andrew Yang, we're on board. Now we get it. What you saw 7 years ago, the rest of us see. But how do we pay for it?
Taxes, more taxes, obviously.
The CEO of Anthropic, Dario Amodei, just raised his hand and said, you guys should tax us, the AI firms. And right now,
that's true.
Hundreds of billions of dollars of value is being realized by Anthropic and these other firms on the back, by the way, of data that we all provided unwittingly.
I never thought about this. This is a really good insight that, I mean, I think that to an extent, the AI people should be, you should be paying back into the system because you're the reason, like, we're the reason why your system even exists. Actually based.
Didn't agree to it, but it's trillions of dollars of value, and most Americans aren't going to see a dime of that. So if you have the CEO of an AI company saying you should tax us, I think we should take him up on his suggestion. And if you have an AI tax,
I think it's more robotics and automation in general, right? I mean, you look at AI is like it's a red herring in a degree that, like, robotics and automation is really, like, this is like an umbrella term, and AI is one thing that's under that umbrella, and sometimes it's above it depending on what's happening. But in a general sense, that's where things are going.
Or compute tax you get to very big numbers very quickly.
It's robotics.
So they're now referring to the Magnificent Seven, or the S&P.
They get $7.
493 instead of the S&P 500. Put a graph on the screen right now for the benefit of everybody at home. The Washington Post had this coverage. The point was that if you strip out Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla, then, markets...
Wait, what? So it's like 7 companies that are tech companies are like mass. I've never seen this before. So they're popping off on this insane level, and everything else is just barely going up. Wow.
Doing okay, but the market surely
No, I've
isn't
never seen this graph.
what it's doing when you include those 7. And I guess my question for Andrew Yang is, what happens if that is a bubble and it bursts? Then how do you fund the freedom dividend or universal basic income?
It's not going to burst. It's like saying the fucking Industrial Revolution was a bubble or the internet was a bubble. Like, are we really going to say that automating jobs is a bubble? Like, it's like, oh, cars are a bubble, horses are a bubble. What the fuck is this? Who thinks this?
Well, right now, a lot of the value that's getting generated is being hoarded or held by a handful of companies, Michael. I think you're right.
You're
We
right.
should be trying to spread those value gains more broadly across the market and to people.
Well, this has been a problem ever since the 70s. Like, before I've been alive, is that you have, like, you look at the stock market, and the stock market's going, it's going up really fast, right? But are you guys making any more money? A lot of people aren't. So a McDonald's fucking Big Mac is $7 now, but you're still making $5. What the fuck happened? So this is the issue. No one buys homes. Yeah, exactly. So the problem is that while the wealth in the country is going up, it's going up and it's being disproportionately allocated to, like, a few people. Literally, like, a few people in some cases. And in general, the 1% of the population has had, I think it's like over 90% of the wealth gains since the recovery from COVID. Over 90% of all of the wealth gains are from 1% of the people. That's insane. It's ridiculous. And it's going to get worse.
Right now, U.S. GDP is around $85,000 per person and trending upward because regardless of whether AI as an investment thesis.
Well, I mean, GDP is per person. I mean, this is a mean and not a median. I think the median is going to be a lot lower than 80,000. I think everybody knows that.
Is a little bit overhyped. You know that it's going to have a positive effect on GDP.
Yeah.
So if you have 85,000,
but these are like these abstract $1 trillion numbers. Like GDP, S&P 500, NASDAQ, these are like, oh, this X amount of $1 trillion. This is not real to an average person. It's just not real. They're fake numbers. The truth is that an average person goes to the store and they can't afford groceries. It doesn't matter how many graphs you show some guy. It's not going to help him be able to afford his car. That's the problem, is you keep showing people, oh, well, look at the graph. The graph is going up. That's nice, but my wage didn't. That's exactly it. And this is the problem. This is the disconnect. And this is the reason why all of these fucking professionals and experts and these people are all fucking retards. They're all retards that are either lying to you on purpose or they're doing it on accident. But either way, they're lying to you. They look at, oh, there's such a big recovery. There's this thing and that thing. No, it's not. It's absolutely not a recovery. You go and ask an average person, you look at the stock market between now and 2018, you ask somebody, was their life better? Did they have more purchasing power between now and 2018? Unless that person had a big life change, like they got a great job or something like that, I can almost guarantee you that back in 2018, their life was better. Let me ask you guys, was your life, did you have more purchasing power comparatively in 2018 or do you now? I'm sure some of you guys will say now because y'all probably got into a job, you got into a new career, and that's it. Yeah, absolutely, right? Yeah, and so a lot of people, right? Everybody knows this. And so how is it that the stock market can keep going up? How is it that the GDP can keep going up? How is it that every single, abstraction of the economy can go up, but the average person's lived experience is that life is getting worse? Well, the reason why is because these numbers and these data points are deliberately created, and they're used to obfuscate the reality of the economy to the average person, because all of the rich people don't want anybody to figure that out. That's why they keep everybody fighting over, oh my God, can you have a transsexual dog? Wait, how many genders are there? Look at the Somalians. Like, I don't think that there should be a bunch of Somalians here either, but let's not pretend like that's the main problem. It's not even in the top 10. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't get rid of people that shouldn't be here, but that's not the reason why things are a shithole. That's it. Oh, wow. Can you have a gay kid? Can your kid transition at 7 years old? Why don't you guys fight each other over that rather than see that these graphs are not respective at all of an average person's experience? Can robots have genders? Yeah, let's think about that rather than, are robots going to take your fucking job? And so this is the problem. And people, like, again, the Democrat Party has been completely poisoned with identity politics. Totally poisoned. I think irrecoverably so. I don't think that it's ever going to get out of the identity politics. I think you need a new party. It's got cancer and it's terminal. And the Republican Party isn't that much better, but the Republican Party has been cancer. It has been the party of big business. It has been the party of, putting the 1% over the 99% because you've convinced the 99% that they are the temporarily embarrassed 1%. This is what's happened. And so it's not like either of these sides are on your side. Neither of them are America first. You're talking about international businessmen, international business owners that have citizenship, residences, and living spaces all over the world. They have no real obligation to America. They have no loyalty to America other than the opportunistic advantage that America would provide, that obviously, okay, well, this is the biggest economy, so I want it to do well. That's it. That's it. There's no shared purpose. There's no shared goal. There's no ideology that's driving this. It is just simply economic convenience. That's it. That's all it is. And meanwhile, you're working. You can't get a fucking job. You're competing against a robot, a Somalian, and a woman who gets a higher fucking score on something because she was born with a different fucking gender than you. And meanwhile, you think it's the woman who's the enemy. No, it's the person who made the system that did that. But they're keeping you getting mad at them so you're not mad at the other people. That's it. That's the main problem. That and I want to say that is the prime evil. That is the prime, ultimate, absolute evil. And it grows bigger every single year. Every single consumer metric, every single metric of economic disparity is showing the two lines getting farther and farther apart. It doesn't matter whether it's productivity and wages. It doesn't matter whether it's the top 1% and the bottom 50%. It doesn't matter whether it's home ownership and renters. Every single graph shows the exact same thing. It's amazing how nobody sees this because they're stupid. And I don't think it's ever going to change, by the way. I think the American public and the public in general, the average human being is so stupid, so selfish, so short-sighted that at the worst case scenario, the rich people will just pay the poor people to kill the other half of the poor people. Pay half the poor people, they kill the other half, and then we're going to go right back to business as usual. This is never going to get better. I know, you might not believe me, but every country has this. You think it's perfect in China? Fuck no, they have the same general problems. In Russia, they have the same general problems. This is all over the world. This is a massive issue. Divide. Yes, exactly. How much are we talking? Yes, this is all over the world. And this is a manifestation of the Pareto principle 80-20 rule that applies to everything in the world, basically, where 80% of things are controlled by 20% of people. And the only difference that we have is that it's not 80% and it's not 20%, it's 1% and it's 95%. That's the only difference that we have. So yes, and I don't think it's ever going to get better. Because nobody's going to vote for Andrew Yang. Nobody's going to believe this stuff. Nobody understands math. Nobody knows what country they live in. People are, kids are getting it. You've got kids now. They grow up. They're on fucking loot boxes. They're like opening up loot boxes at 4 years old, getting addicted to gambling. They get older. They spend so much time on a tablet. They can't walk, so their leg muscles aren't developed. They can't even go upstairs. They can't read their name. They can't write their name. They're 9-10 years old. They can barely figure out what their fucking name is. Then they go to middle school and they're getting bombarded with OnlyFans ads whenever they go onto fucking Instagram or YouTube Kids. And that's if they're not being fucking pipelined into some degenerate furry fetish shit. Then you have on top of that, they're doing Galaxy Gas. You've got kids gambling on rain bed and steak. Then on top of that, they go, oh, you know what? I want to be a basketball player. Well, there's no reason to be a basketball player anymore. Why don't you just bet on the basketball players? That's what all the cool celebrities do. So they're addicted to sports gambling, and then they get older, they get addicted to real gambling. Then they get older than that, and now they're addicted to prediction market gambling because it's being advertised by CNN. And so you have people, oh, and by the way, they never learn about statistics. They never learn about economics. They never learn about any sort of accounting. The only thing that they learn about is what year some president, decided that someday would be a holiday. But they don't know how to balance their taxes. They don't know what a 1040 is. They don't know what a statistic is. They don't know what the N means inside of a sample size in a fucking study. So these people are so functionally fucking retarded that they might as well just be batteries. They'd be batteries. They'd be more useful to society. And this is a carefully engineered conveyor belt to turn people into fucking slaves, basically. That's it. And I'm losing my fucking mind. I'm losing my fucking mind seeing this happen. And the only way that I can fucking deal with it is I think to myself, well, hey, it's not going to happen to me. It's natural selection. Well, people are getting selected, and it's happening a lot faster than you think. And the worst part is, they'll select themselves. If you want to do something that's truly against the will of the people, put it to a vote. It's so sad. It's so fucking sad. That's what I think.
Head than having $12,000 a year, which I proposed in 2020,
yeah,
actually seems pretty modest and reasonable. And that's going to be affordable regardless of what happens with some of these firms' valuations.
Oh, and by the way, one little bonus event. All of this migration and refugees and migrants and open borders, this is for the 1% of people. Do you think this is helping the working class having to compete with some fucking migrant from Honduras that's going to work for $3 an hour? No, but it's helping the person that owns the business that's hiring him under the table.
As you envisioned the freedom dividend,
it's the most anti-American thing you can do.
There was no means testing. Everybody gets a check, whatever that amount
I think you should have means testing. Like if you're making over $100,000 a year, you shouldn't be getting a check from the government. Like realistically.
What becomes of other federal
and that's
assistance?
10%. By the way, that's like 10% of the population. It's a very big amount of people.
Well, I intended the freedom dividend to try and clear up and clean up some of the bureaucracy and administration that's currently being applied. I spoke to a disabled woman in Iowa during the campaign, and she said she wants to volunteer in her community, but she's afraid to because she's afraid to lose her disability payments. And I think most people look.
That's fucking pathetic. That's so pathetic. And if you understand the way that these entitlement systems work, you would know that she's completely right. That's exactly how the entitlement systems work.
Would say, well, that's not right. Like the intention is not to.
Yeah, and also somebody in chat. This is a really great statistic. Did you know that someone who makes $65,000 a year makes less than someone that makes $28,000 a year with benefits? This is a retarded level of min-maxing that should have never happened. Should have never happened. And oh yeah, by the way, all the politicians that support this stuff hate America. They hate America. They want to make you a slave. They want to replace you with a robot. They want to take away your rights. And they want to make sure to have you say thank you. And they also want to moderate your thought to make sure that you never even consider saying, hey, I don't like this idea.
This woman to stay home. So if you can put this into people's hands and say, look, this is going to be yours regardless, then it empowers them to go out and hopefully build things, start businesses, and participate in their community. Capitalism does not work very well if people don't have money to spend.
Yeah.
So
it's not capitalism. I mean, it's just really not.
Capitalism that we're talking about, it sounds rather socialist, doesn't it? That everybody's going to get a check and therefore they won't have to go to work because
this is the most retarded fucking oversimplification that I've ever heard. Yes, very obviously, there are things that are different between being capitalist and socialist. We have social fucking security. We have food stamps. Like, this entire idea that all capitalist things are good or bad and all socialist things are good or bad is the reason why I think that there will never be an advancement in any sort of collective class consciousness, because people are so brain dead fucking retarded that they can never even be able to see. They can't understand things on anything that's not a buzzword. They're like fucking Pavlovian dogs. They hear the word socialism. Oh, what? Whether they like it or not, they have some sort of fucking. It's like Zoolander, right? Where they play the song.
Jobs are being taken by AI.
Durability for nuance, exactly.
Initially.
That's why they're going to be batteries.
It's capitalism where income doesn't start at zero, Michael. And you have a consumer economy that is predicated on folks being able to participate. And if you shove millions of Americans to the curb via AI and automation, then they're not going to be able to go to their local business. They're not going to be able to meaningfully grow the economy. They're going to stay at home. They're going to end up going down internet rabbit holes and getting radicalized in many cases. So
I think that's another really great point, is that the reason why a lot of people are radicalized is because their life sucks dick. Your life sucks massive dick. You have been completely disenfranchised from every single institution and social and political apparatus that exists. Well, of course you're going to be a communist. Of course you're going to like Hitler. Because you don't really like Hitler or like communism. You just hate your current system so fucking much that you want anything that is as antithetical and destructive to it as possible to replace it. That's what you really want.
That's a loss.
That's what I think.
And so if we can get people connected in various ways,
why wouldn't you?
That's the direction we should go. And I'm not someone who thinks that this money is a silver bullet that's going to do the trick. I mean, you still have to convey structure, purpose, fulfillment, community, all of the rest of it that jobs traditionally have provided.
Andrew, a final question. There's an academic in the on-deck circle, and I'll bet you've read the stories. It's Dr. Yampolsky, who's been quoted as saying that he thinks in 5 years we'll have 99% unemployment. I'll see it.
Come on. Like, what are we talking about? The most extreme example?
In a moment whether he's going to stand by.
Jesus Christ, this bald retard is just out of control. He is out of control.
That prediction. How bad does Andrew Yang think it will get undeterred?
No, it's going to get bad. I certainly don't think 99% bad. But if you use this 44% of jobs subject to automation as a benchmark, and then you figure that we're going to churn through, let's say, half of those jobs over the next 10 years or so, that puts you at 30 to 40 million jobs that get eliminated.
Yeah, it's insane.
And that would be devastating. That would be catastrophic for many, many communities. And I think that's a realistic place to think we're going to be heading.
And you can see how also what I think is funny about this is that CNN is playing its role inside of this ecosystem by presenting these nonsensical, most radical possible ideas and then creating a artificial permission structure to disregard them based off of their most exaggerated extrapolation.
Andrew Yang, thank you for being
framing it the
here.
worst way possible.
Perfect
Yes, exactly.
guest on this day.
Thanks for having me, Michael. Wish I had better news. But
go to my website. Hopefully so. Go to my website. It's mercadish.com. This is today's poll question.
Jesus.
Is guaranteed income a realistic remedy for job loss due to AI? Go vote.
Well, there you go, guys. There you go. In case you were confused, in case you were like, well, maybe they're giving him a fair shake. Well, now you know that's not the case. What's funny is people watching this interview only heard 99% unemployment. Exactly. Yeah. It's just like, it's like, well, what are you talking about? Like you pick the most extreme possible thing and then you base everything off of that directly. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. When I was streaming, the money I made streaming helped supplementary. The money I made working, I was doing 14 to 18 hours a day. So it's not practical. Yeah, it's awful. Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I think they need to frame it as worse as possible to get those old bags in government to move on policy. I think that you are being way too generous towards them. I don't think that is what they are doing at all. Yeah, I do not believe that. I don't think that. Absolutely fucking not. I think that they are trying to delegitimize it, trying to make it look as invalid and ridiculous as possible in order to basically protect themselves.